My name is Jonathan Rajewski. I'm the director of the Leahy Center for Digital Investigation and also the associate professor of digital forensics at Champlain College. Cyber, right? Mobility. That's right. We want that connectivity. We want our apps to work together. We want our homes to be smart, and when we get to our house, we want our lights to turn on automatically. That all sounds great. There's Kickstarter campaigns with no security on the devices. Children's toys are exposing data about some of the most vulnerable people in the world because they have no idea about security. They just want to use this toy. So what can companies do? Well, one of the things companies could do is hire someone like our guest speaker, who I'm going to let introduce himself because he truly is one of the InfoSec cybersecurity rangers that can be called in to help secure a company's network. Actually, without further ado, I'd like to just quickly introduce Jayson Street. He has been doing this for many years. He's one of our distinguished guests this year to give you some insight on what he does and a little bit more about cybersecurity. Jayson?
How's it going? This is still early in the morning for me, even on East Coast time. I'm from Central, so give me a second. That's actually my second bottle today. This is my legal disclaimer. During this discussion, I may talk about some very mean, horrible things that I've done in the past, some things that people actually paid me to do. And when I do that, you're going to think, well, he's a horrible person, but just remember the kittens, I'm adorable. It's like I will not try to steal from you, kill you, or destroy you financially unless you pay me first. There's always a contract. So whenever you have those moments of like, I can't believe he did that, it's like, and I promise you there'll be moments, it's like, just remember the kittens. A little about me. Everything is on Google, unfortunately. It's like I live a very public life, so I don't like talking too much. But the key things to know is I'm a blue team guy and a red team guy. I'm like a purple team kind of person. I do defensive. I started over 25 years ago in physical security and law enforcement. Yes, I'm that old. And then about 15 years ago, I started into information security because, you know, people don't shoot at you when you do it from the computer. So I like that kind of security. And then about 6 years ago, I started doing the actual red teaming, it's like the pen testing, because one of the things that I see, one of the biggest problems in defensive in the blue team is that we're really good at making walls that honest people won't climb over. We're really good at creating defenses as we would perceive them to be, but we need to test them for the bad guys, because what a good guy will think of, a bad guy will maybe, you know, well, let me go around this way, let me check how this goes and stuff, and it sees it in a different mindset. So I hate giving talks to colleges, meaning I hate doing a slideshow presentation where I'm just talking at you, because I don't think that's a very good value for you. It's like at conferences, I do that with no problem. So what this is I'm going to show you a couple of stories about what I've done so you can, you know, get my cred up with you guys. And then I'm going to stop there. And then you're going to ask me questions. And then it's going to be the whole rest of the time till y'all are finished, it's going to be question and answers. So it's like, because I don't like having to just talk at people and stuff, you know, I want y'all to be able to ask the questions. Just to give you a little thing, this is one of my most infamous jobs that I did. I was hired to, at a bank in Lebanon, to break into their banks in Beirut, Amman, Jordan, Nicosia, Cyprus. It was a fun month. And one of the things that they did, and I think it's mainly because I pissed off the executive at the very beginning, was they wanted me to show how I could do a real-world physical compromise and cost them money electronically. It's like, because a lot of people think that it's like, well, I've got all my network, got my firewalls, IDS systems, and I tell people time and time again, it's like, I don't have to bypass your firewall if I can bypass your receptionist. It's like, I am not really good at getting a database and getting there and getting, you know, SA and being able to, like, you know, drop the tables and stuff, you know, do Bobby drop tables and get everything. And I'm not really good at that. But I'm really good at stealing the hard drive with that database on it and walking out the door with it. I still got the data. It's like, so I've actually had security guards take the server out of the server room and put it in my car because it was heavy. It's like, and so I didn't use any kind of really cool 0 days on that. I just, you know, took the whole server. So that's the way I usually do this. So I was telling, they were asking, like, well, how do you do that? And so quite simply, I was like, okay, this is the 5 things I'll need to create online fraud, to do a wire transfer to steal money from you. It's like, I'm gonna need a user ID, I'm gonna need a password, I'm gonna need a smart card because they use 2-factor authentication on their terminals. It's like they use these little Sunbox terminals. I'm gonna need a computer, and I'm gonna need network access. I'm gonna get all those. And they're like, okay, we'll choose 3 different branches. We're going to give you 3 chances. We're gonna take you to randomly 3 different branches. I did no recon. There was no pretexting. I go in blind to these locations. So, and they wanted to see what I could do, you know, they were gonna see. So let's, usually this is the point where I show you this PowerPoint presentation and the slides, but since this is a private sort of thing and they're not photographing the screen, I can actually show you this. This is actually the bank surveillance footage from the bank in Beirut, Lebanon. So we're going to watch and see how well that went for them. Please notice the time. Watch around 11:59, 30-something seconds. Boom, there I am. I just walked in blind. Never been there before. And then we go and fast forward sort of to around 12:01 and something seconds, probably around 20, 30 seconds, it's about to show up. Who's that guy? In less than 2 minutes and 22 seconds, I had full access to the bank. I actually make the guy get up out of his chair so I can install a malware, a USB rubber ducky from Hack5 onto his terminal. I was there for over 20 minutes with full run of the systems, the computers, and everything. So that happened. The funny part about that, and let's go back and do this again from current slide. So that's the still shots. If you did notice, I was wearing a black leather DEF CON jacket and red Thundercat tennis shoes. I always come with warning labels. I'm trying to get the guys to show up and do it. So it was pretty funny. And if you'll notice, the customer was depositing $200,000 in cash while I was there. So it's like I didn't really need the money. It's like I needed the data, so I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything with that. But I took these pictures with the camera while I was twirling in a chair because I got ADD. I was bored, so it's like I was there for 20 minutes. So it's like I'm just twirling in the chair waiting for someone to do something. So I go through, and the key story is it's like what happened was I walked in like I owned the place, go down the hallway. Never been there, but it's like I always walk like I know where I'm going. And sometimes it's been embarrassing. I've ended up in, brick walls or staircases where like, oh, this is awkward. I have to go somewhere else now. But this one actually worked out really good. The manager was there. He was in the office with somebody. So I just stayed right outside of his office. And it was down this hallway. So everybody thinks that I'm going to go speak to the manager. The manager has no clue that I'm there. And I wait about 30 seconds, and then I go and I immediately walk right into the executive's office to the right of me. And she saw me walk over to the manager, and because he's at the end of the hallway, he's the only one there. So she knew that I just finished talking to the manager, and I was like, hey, I'm with IT support from headquarters. We're looking at the domain controllers and stuff, make sure the TCP IP resets and stuff, weren't happening with the IPv6, because the IP4 gateways and stuff, weren't doing with the TCP talk. The lithium crystals just weren't working with the flux capacitors. I need you to let me plug this USB drive in. And they're like, okay, sure, whatever, So it's like I plug in the USB drive. It's like a command prompt comes up showing that my thing was done. I take out an actual camera, take a picture of her screen. It's like, oh, this is just for auditing, just to show that I actually did it and stuff, It's like put the camera back and unplug the device. And then now I've got access to everything. Now, because everybody saw me talk to the manager, then the executive who was further down the hallway, she verified and let me work at her desk. And then I immediately went in. 15 minutes in, the bank manager comes out. He sees this guy behind his desk doing all these things. They're saying he's the IT guy. They thought that he verified me. He thinks that they verified me, so he's good. And he says, what are you doing? You got a question?
I do.
Yes.
Because you encouraged us to ask questions.
100%. Well, I meant more toward the end, but it's fine right now, too.
I'm just curious about the cross-cultural and cross-language stuff going on here. So you don't speak Arabic?
No, I tell people it's like I'm from America, so I only speak one language, and I'm from Texas, so I don't speak it very well.
So how does that sort of factor into the psychological game you're kind of playing here with the employees?
I have never had, I've never seen really, it's a cultural thing, because people like to say it's like, well, they should be more suspicious, or they should be more friendly. It's like, I've broken into hotels in Malaysia, Germany, the south of France. I've broken into financial places in Jamaica, Jordan, Lebanon, in the US. I broke into a state treasury here, secured facilities here in the US, research facilities in the US. I've broken into like different places all over the world. It's like, and it's never been a factor.
It's not about language, it's about kind of psyching out the context for the situation.
I go being adorable. It's like, you just go in and smile, because bad guys don't smile, first of all, and stuff, and it's like, you just go in and it's like, hey, I'm just trying to help you out. I broke into I was in Vice headquarters in London, and they're an all Mac shop on the top floor, except for like these 3 Windows machines that was actually my main target. But I go to the Mac things first, and the funny thing about that is the reason why I'm stressing the fact that they were Macs is that I'm wearing a fake Microsoft employee badge. And I go up to the first lady, and I was like, hey, I'm here with with tech support for Microsoft. It's like, we're looking to check the domain controllers because the TCP Apple talk and stuff is not working with the gateway for the USB rights of the domain group policy controllers. I need to plug this in. And she's like, and she actually asked me questions. She was like, because I'm standing right over her, and she's sitting down, she's like, your badge says Microsoft. And I'm like, well, yeah, because, you got your domain controllers and stuff, and all your servers are Microsoft. It's like, even though your laptops are Apple, it's like, that's the problem. We're having a problem with the crosstalk collisions. And she's like, okay, your badge says hacker on it. I come with warning labels. And I was like, oh, yeah, because you need good hackers to go after the bad hackers and stuff, And she's like, okay, plug it in. She didn't even notice the lanyard said professionally evil on it, which I was waiting for her to ask about that too, but she didn't. It's like, so that was sort of sad. But no, it's like, and we can talk a little bit more about that, but it's just the assurance of like, I'm here, nothing bad's going to happen. It's like, because I'm giving you a good, reasonable lie versus the horrible, ugly truth of, something bad just did happen. So the bank manager comes over to me, and he's like, I tell him I'm here with desktop support from headquarters. He's like, oh, that's awesome. We've got a problem with one of our machines over here. And I'm like, and I tell people, when you go to an engagement, don't ever go on an engagement as a plumber unless you know how to plumb. Okay, because you never know when someone's gonna call and say, hell yeah, you're right, the sinks are stopped up, can you go do something about it? So I always go in as a help desk or something I can do, and I can do help desk. So I'm like, sure, let's go. So I go and look at the computer, like, command prompt controls. Okay, you know what? This isn't really good. I'm gonna go and get you one from headquarters. It's like, get you a new one. His eyes lit up like it was Christmas. And he's like, oh, we got these scanners over here that's a problem. Can you come and look at the scanners? I'm sure. I go and look at the scanner. You know what? I don't think I'm gonna get you a new one from headquarters. It's like, this one doesn't, this is old. You shouldn't even be having this. You're like, I've got these 2 monitors. Can you come look at these 2 monitors? Okay, look, I wasn't supposed to tell anybody, okay? But the reason why I'm coming in from headquarters is because we're gonna do a refurb of all the branches, and we're gonna give you all new equipment, new monitors, new scanners, new computers. We're upgrading the whole systems. And I like you, you're cool. So I'm gonna put you at the top of the list. It's my discretion. You're gonna have all this stuff in 2 weeks. I am telling you, that was one of the worst parts of the whole engagement, okay? Because I don't do like red teaming, pin testing things. I do security awareness engagements. That means after I compromise the location, I walk out for 2 minutes, and then I come back in, because 2 minutes showed that I got away with it. I'm scot-free. So I come back in after 2 minutes, and I talk to every single person that I compromised. Well, this branch, I compromised everybody really, really bad. So I actually waited till the branch closed so we could get everybody grouped together. One of the executives from the head office was there to speak Arabic to make translate, so they understood perfectly well how horrible this was, and started explaining to them all the things that I did, why it was bad. Not even halfway through, the bank manager raises his hand like grade school, and I'm like, yes? And he's like, the new computers, are we still getting the new computers? And I'm like, no, I'm a horrible person. I was lying to you so you would do what I wanted you to do. And he's like, I felt like I kicked a puppy. It was bad, okay? I felt really bad about that. I mean, and it's like, and from this guy right here, in this Nazi sweater vest, I actually got his employee ID, his password, and his smart card. But I learned my lesson, okay? I learned my lesson on that one. It's like I felt really bad about that. So I go to the next branch. And on the next branch, actually there's a funny story about this one that I don't usually share, but this next branch that they sent me to, once again, I've done no recon. It's like usually when I'm going to a location, even if it's a remote location, I'll Google Street Map it, I'll look for all the different areas, I get to drive around it, I'll walk around, I'll try to get a feel for it. Here, this guy just drops me off in front of this office building, you know, this glass office building, and there's a door, and it's like, so I go to the door, and it's got something in Arabic and French. French and Arabic are the two main languages in Lebanon. It's like everybody speaks three usually. It's like, but it's predominantly Arabic than French. So it's in Arabic and French. I'm like, I don't know what that means. I guess that means to go to the next door. So I go down the lengthways of the sidewalk into the other door, and there's the branch, and I see the lady behind the teller, and I already locked on the target. It's like, I can tell by her body language, she's pretty loud, I'm gonna go after her. And then I hear the horn honking. And trust me, it's hard to differentiate between horn honking and Beirut. There's a lot of horn honking going on in traffic. But it's like, but this one was like really insistent. So I was like, is that my driver? So I go, and it was my driver. He's like honking his horn furiously, telling me to come over to the vehicle. And I'm like, what? What's wrong? He's like, that's not our bank. It turns out there was two branches sharing the same side. The sign said in Arabic and French, it said push the buzzer to be let in. I didn't know that, so it's like, oops, my bad. So I literally almost broke in and compromised someone else's bank, which would have been awkward because I'm pretty sure I would have been successful at it. But it'd be more awkward, you know, after the 2 minutes coming back in and explaining to them what I did. So I walk into the second branch, and I just walk straight in down the hallway. This leads to a break room, which is really cool because, you know, I'm a little thirsty, pwning people's thirsty work. So it's like I drink a little bit of water, and I just wait around. And as I do that, I go in, and I wait about 2 minutes. The reason why, if you notice, I always go into one place. I try to go into the side as far as I can before I start my attack. Because it's just subliminal thinking of human nature. It's like if I'm coming from the outside, you're more attentive. You're more aware of that because that's like, you know, but if I'm coming from behind you, if I'm coming from an area that's already trusted, you're subconsciously okay with that because that's someone that's obviously trusted. They're coming in from that direction. It's a little bit more of a trust thing. And I learned my lesson from the last branch, okay? I felt really bad about lying to those people and making them feel bad like that. So on this one, I didn't talk to anybody. I said zero. Not one word to a single person, including the guy doing business right to the left of me. And if you're wondering what I'm doing behind the teller line now at this point, well, like I said, I needed a computer. I literally unplugged the computer that wasn't being used and walked out with it. I didn't take the keyboard or mouse because I'm not greedy, okay? It's like I just needed the computer to prove the point, so I took that. So that's how I did that, and at the third branch, how hard was it to get network access? The main point of this is to show people want to think that my computers have to be secured, my servers have to be patched. It's like I have to protect against Bluetooth and Wi-Fi and 0 days and, you know, TCP Apple talk, right? It's like, but we don't worry about physical compromise as much as we should be because if I can get physical access, I can do online. It's like I can break into your networks because I'm doing it from your actual employee's terminal. So another one thing, it's like if y'all want to hear another story, or do you want to switch up to some other stuff? Okay, so this other one that I did was the state treasury in the United States. I can't say which state because they are still royally pissed at me. It's like, I'm not really that annoying in person, I promise. It's just sometimes my clients just aren't really happy with me. And what I did was they gave me a scope. And this is one of the cool things that you need to learn, especially if you're going to get into pen testing, okay? And if you're also if you want to get a pen test done for your company, the big thing that you have to understand is scope. Because an attacker attacks you like this, right? kitchensink.exe, they throw everything at you. That's their scope. And a client goes up to a pen tester or a pen testing company and says, I want you to attack us like an attacker would. And you're like, all right, cool. But only Monday through Friday and stuff, you know, because that's when we got our full-time employees there. And I'm like, okay, but attack us like an attacker would. Sure thing. but you do it between 9 p.m. and 3 a.m. So it's like we're not messing our batch jobs up and stuff, you know, because we're doing backups then after that. And it's like, okay, cool, but attack us like an attacker would. And I'm like, sure, no problem, I'll do that. But it's like our production servers are like really delicate right now in the middle of our updates. Hey, you know what? We've got this development server on this one IP address. Go after it and attack us just like an attacker would. And then that's your scope. And that's what you're supposed to simulate, a real world attack defined by this. So are you giving the client an actual representation of what an attacker would do? No. Are you usually successful anyway? Well, yes. It's like, but that's still not giving them the full view. And this one was like the most narrowest of scopes that I've ever had in my life because they were really pissed because the network team had already gotten in and they were not happy about that. So one of their last bastions of defense, the IT team was saying, well, a person would have to be inside our internal network to get away with a lot of that stuff. It's like, how are you going to get in physically? And so the network security company called me up and said, hey, Jayson, you want to break into a state treasury? And I'm like, sure. You know, it's like, I pick my jobs. It's like, I don't do the pen testing stuff, you know, for a living. It's like, I do that for fun. So I actually get to pick my jobs. It's like, I'm never going to break into a shoe company in Des Moines, Iowa. You know, I'm sure Des Moines' a great place, just never really interested in it. It's like, but you say, hey, Jayson, can you go break into this oil company in Saudi Arabia? Sure, let's try that. It's like, can you bring this financial place in Jamaica? I'm there. You know, that sounds interesting. So I want to go do those things. So they called me up and said, hey, you want to break into a state treasury? And I'm like, awesome, let's go for it. So I go around and look around their headquarters. And their headquarters, I have to admit, were very, very secured. They had the bulletproof glass, the shaded glass where you couldn't see in very well. They had security cameras actually placed where they're supposed to be. So usually you find a problem with placements of the cameras, but the cameras were placed very well done. The receptionist was very, you know, polite but firm about badges. It's like it was very secured. I did find one weakness. If you went to the basement where the cafe was, there was a storage closet area where there was a dumbwaiter that led into the floor, the first floor, because this was a remodeled building. And I was like, well, that's a way to get in. But I opened up the dumbwaiter, and there were spiders. So therefore, they would not allow me with the flamethrower, so I could not get in. So the place was impenetrable. So, you know, spiders. So I told them, okay, you got that one. You got me on that. I can't get into your headquarters. But they had another facility 50 miles away from the main headquarters, in an office building that they subletted an office out of. Why is that awesome? Humans think physically, not logistically. So their perceptions are, doesn't have to be as secure, that's 50 miles away from us. The computers that were connected into that office were on a direct internal extranet into their main headquarters IP addresses into their network. Why would I go after that big, bulky headquarters with spiders when there's an office building that's easy to break into? So yes, I told them I'm going to target the office building. And they're like, okay, Jayson, okay, yeah, you can break into the office building, but we got some scope for you. You can only come in after 5:30, okay, because it's like, you know, we don't want to mess with the other tenants and stuff, you know, that are doing business. I'm like, okay. You can't break into the doors. It's like, you know, because the doors are going to be locked at that point. So you can't use any of your lock-picking tools. It's like, and let me be honest with you, my lock-picking tools consist of cardboard or a crowbar, okay? I usually only use those two. It's like the cardboard goes through the slots on the sides of the doors, the gaps, and it triggers the motion sensor on the inside. I broke into a bank that way. It was awesome. It's like you just do the cardboard stuff, you know, and it triggers the motion sensor. I also use paper airplanes. I actually had 7 airplanes on the floor of this one office building on the second floor, and a lady comes up to me, and she's like, what are you doing? So I'm bored. It's like, you know, I'm with the IT support trying to do some stuff on the flux capacitors, and she's like, why are you throwing airplanes through the door? So I'm just bored, just waiting to see if it'll trigger the inside. And she's like, well, here, and she opens up and lets me in. I'm pretty sure the planes would have worked though, okay? It's like, I didn't get a chance to totally test that out. But so I have to go up there, and the crowbar is sort of self-explanatory, right? That's for when the cardboard doesn't work out. Usually the crowbar does. So I have to go and not use any of my tools to break in. I can't talk to anybody coming in or out of the building because they may not be state treasury employees and stuff, you know, and that just would be rude. So, okay, so I won't talk to anybody coming in or out of the facility. I could only stay in the public area if I managed to get in, and then I could only talk to the cleaning crew. But I was not allowed to lie to them. Because, what bad guy would do that? That's just, dishonest. So it's like, I'm not going to lie to you when I'm stealing from you, right? So that was my scope. That was my scope to go. Let's see how that worked out for him, shall we? This is the Jayson nose cam. Hope you all enjoy that. There you go. Trust me, I'm trying to get to it to play as quickly as possible. This is me trying to go to the side door, looking for the side door, see if it's open. I know it's not, but I gotta check anyway, right? It's locked. No freaking crowbar. This is the longest part of the compromise right here, by the way. The walk to the front door. Which actually gives me enough time to. Hope none of y'all need Dramamine. It's like I'm filming off of a video recorder watch. 16 gig USB hard drive, high def infrared video on the watch. I get up to the front door. Of course it's locked. I take out my handy hacking tool, a phone. And I look like I'm doing business stuff. 10 seconds after grabbing my phone, couldn't even get Angry Birds started. And what happens? Talk to no one. I literally compromised a secured office building, like multi-story office building in another country. And the whole time I did it was just in their elevator lobbies on every floor, all the doors were locked. You get out of the elevator and you're facing a locked door. And I compromised every single one of those floors by doing this. And it was even worse there, okay, because it wasn't even my phone, it was someone else's phone. They didn't have Angry Birds on it, okay? There was no video games, there was no Twitter, nothing, okay? So now I'm inside the lobby for 2 hours. This is one of the worst engagements and moments of my life. I'm 2 hours inside a locked lobby doing nothing. Y'all are really underestimating my ADD, okay? I mean, there's only so many tweets you can tweet, so many posts you can like, and birds you can flip in 2 hours. My iPhone was down like 2%. It was danger zone time, okay? So I am there for 2 hours just like going nuts, okay, waiting to hear the cleaning crew lady. And I'm like, and finally, I hear her. She's up on the second floor, but I'm like, screw it, it's close enough. It's like, she's gotta be in a public area. I walk up there. Let's see how that works for her.
And we're recording.
No, we're not. I still haven't Microsoft very well with the new PowerPoint. I switched mid-year on from a Mac to Windows. My talk next year is not going to require videos because it's just too annoying. So here we go. I got to go, and I can only tell the truth. I cannot lie to her. I wish I could keep this bar up.
Hello? Hey. I'm in, trying to get back in the suite. Could you let me in real quick?
I'm trying to get back into the suite. I was there the day before. I am trying to get back in. That was truth.
Yes. Downstairs?
No, no clean. Me no.
Could you let me in? I can't get in. It's like I just went to the bathroom and I didn't have my badge.
I can't get in. They won't let me have a crowbar. I don't have my actual valid employee badge that I have for my other job. That is an employee badge. I don't have it with me. It's like it wasn't there with me at the time. And I was there for 2 hours, okay? I had to drink at some point, so it's like, don't judge me.
Could you try?
destroy their network, one thing, that was it.
Working too late.
I am on the clock, they're paying me, people, and I think that laugh's endearing, so don't judge me again. Longest part of the compromise.
Thank you.
You need key?
Huh? Yeah, I don't have the key to get in.
Oh, yes.
Yes, yes.
I come in.
Oh, okay, thanks.
So she goes to get the key. I'm gonna fast forward because it took a while. Oh, I fast forward. There we go.
Yeah, she's got the key. Okay, I'm good, thanks. Bye.
Now that's very important. I was on the phone, and I actually was talking to someone at the time, but I've done it before without even having anybody else on the other line. You call someone, you talk to someone, and when the person comes back, you say automatically, oh no, don't worry, don't worry. They've got the key, they're gonna let me in. You don't have to come down anymore, it's okay. Because what does that do? That gives them authorization to help me, because if they wouldn't do it, someone else was about to do it anyway. They're being nice and saving that other person a trip to come down here and do it. So it's that subliminal, once again, fooling human nature part of it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hey, that was the one lie that I did do, okay? I told her I'd see her later and never saw her again, okay? But that was the only lie through the whole thing. See how important that is? It's like the client wants to put scope in so they can win. The problem is they don't win if you don't discover the vulnerabilities. You don't win if you beat their defenses. The only time that everybody's winning is when they learn from that engagement and they learn to protect themselves better and become better defended and better protected because of the contributions that you put in. If you go out and break something and say, oh, look, it's all broken and stuff, you need to fix that, who did you help? Anybody can make it, can cause the destruction. You also be able to have to figure out how to fix it and make it better, stronger, and more defendable. That's part of the job of a pen tester. Let's get through there. So now where we are, now we're at to another part of the thing where I show teachable moments. This is me trying to find the mouse, me trying to find this. I like to do things to get people's attention so they understand that it affects them as well. It's like, not always effectively, but I do what I can. Has anybody got any questions so far about that? Did you have a question? You just fixing your hands? Yeah, I was talking to you, but no, I guess not. Okay, cool. We'll move on to the next thing. Let's try to, yes, that was me stalling, not very successfully. Thanks, guys, for helping me out on that. I appreciate it.
Have you ever gotten arrested?
No, I came close, well, actually more close to getting shot than arrested, but I was in Houston, Texas in, back in 2000. Yeah, I mean, like I said, almost. So I'm in a dumpster. A lot of my stories end up with me being in a dumpster for some reason. And I'm in a dumpster and I just found blueprints to a bank. It's like, as the bank was a client, it's like, and if you understood bank robbing, you would understand exactly how expensive and pricey having blueprints to the bank was. So I'm trying to get out of the dumpster to do my happy root dance, you know, because, you know, every hacker's got the happy root dance. I'm going to be nice and not show you the whole thing because, and it's better when I'm in pajamas when I'm doing it. So I'm getting out of the dumpster and it's like I'm climbing out and I'm about to do the dance and I see these blue and red flashing lights and I'm like, I didn't order disco lights for my happy root dance. Where did they come from? And all of a sudden, freeze! Let me see your hand! Let me see your hand! And I'm like, dude, I'm coming out of a dumpster. How threatening. But I'm in Texas, so I could still die. So it's like, so I get out, and I'm like, I'm holding my hands up very high, and there's this guy with his gun out. And it's like, and his partner's a little bit cooler. It's like, this guy, let me see your hands. I'm like, mother, there! These are it, okay? I have no others, okay? It's just these two, I promise. And he's like, what are you doing? It's like, I've got this letter
that explains it. I'm doing a security, so I'm going, please don't shoot me here. I'm pulling out this thing, and I pull out this piece of paper, and I sashay sideways over to the guy who's less likely to kill me at the moment, and hand him like, there's the paper. It's like, and hand it to him like that. And the guy reads it, and he's like, calm down, dude. It's just a security assessment thing. It's like, he's a security guy. It's like, he's supposed to be here. It's just, that's what they're doing. And he's like, literally, he was like, darn, it's like, I thought I got to shoot one today. No, I'm joking. It's like, no, like, it was still scary. And then he goes, and that's when I had the epiphany. That started back in a huge epiphany for me, because I now, on every engagement, carry 2 get out of jail free cards. I carry the proper one that you're supposed to have, the letter of engagement that tells that you've signed with the client who signed it and stuff, and given numbers for them to be reached at 24/7 that they have to be available at. So if you get caught, they can call those numbers. But the police officer never called the number. No one ever calls the number. So now I carry 2 of them. And the second one is more enhanced. There's this awesome paragraph in there that I decided to add, which states, if you see this person, it's like they are duly authorized to get into access places that they have access or they don't have access. You're supposed to give them access to, facilitate in any way, shape, or form you can, and make sure, since it's an ongoing investigation and audit, you're not to report this or document that this event actually took place. That is how I got security people to walk a server out into my car. Because I gave them the letter. There has been engagements where I've actually gotten caught right off the bat because I was just too lazy and I just wanted to pull out the letter and just have them just take me and give me access to everything. Because it looked like it was a little bit more secure than I'm used to, and I'll just get caught. It's like, oh, you caught me, here you go, here's the letter. Now can you give me access to the server room? Because it's like I'm not familiar with that kind of door lock and stuff, Can you open that up for me? Thanks, I appreciate it. It's like, so I've done those. So it's like, so always carry 2 engagement letters. And the whole time, my career, only one time did someone actually even call the number. It was in Kingston, Jamaica. It's like, they called the number, it went to my team member's phone, and he talked to them and stuff, it's like, and cleared stuff up. But it's like, but that is the only time that someone's actually even called the number. So now let's get back. Thank you for the successful stall. And it's really funny because there's still nothing here. It's like, you guys are really good. Nope. Who's Will Howe? Will, you still here? I guess you're not. Oh, everybody's checking their phones now, so I guess they're figuring out what's up. But I didn't find any clients on this last one. The last one I only caught was one phone. It's like, but now I'm not getting anybody. Because what I'm doing is I'm running a Wi-Fi pineapple. Is everybody familiar with that, obviously? I think some of the people actually saw it and they're like, it's like, that's the reason why I'm not getting so much good stuff there, so that's good. I've actually done this, and I'll actually show you some screens on that. Let's go back to that one. It's like, there we go. I will show you some. These are actually taken from security conferences. What is that video? Hold on. Okay, yep. So this is actually taken from security conferences, U.S. Chamber of Commerce events. Those are all some of the ones that I've done when I'm doing the talk. I'll go for about 5 minutes, and I'll do it. It's like actually I was at the National Wholesale Beer Association in Vegas. It's like 3,000 people. It's like my demo crashed like it did here. Within the time that it took while I'm talking to just get it started back up, it's like, and I'm telling people, and they're seeing the screen of all the other people that already had been compromised, and I was trying to show them what they were going to do. I still got like a whole page on the far left. It's like I still got all those people still connected to it. Yes. Okay, what the Wi-Fi pineapple does is it goes and it says, it's this device right here. I can unplug it because it's totally worthless right now. What it does is it goes and says, when you go and, if you've connected to a Starbucks, if you've connected to a Panera Bread or an open Wi-Fi at a college maybe, who's ever done that, what it does is it goes and it's your device, your iPhone, your Android, your computer, Mac OS, whatever. It is constantly beaconing out asking, hey, I connected to Starbucks once. Are you there? Are you there? Are you there? I connected to student once. Are you there? Are you there? Are you there? So I connected to Lingo Boingo once. Are you there? Are you there? Are you there? Right? This device goes, yeah, I'm Starbucks. Yeah, I'm student. Yeah, I'm AT&T Wi-Fi. Yeah, I'm all those. Connect to me. And now I'm man in the middling. I'm in now intercepting all your traffic because it's all going through my device. Now, to be fair, I'm a good guy. Remember the kittens? So if you would have gone to one of my if you would have gone to my device and connected to it, normally you would get internet and it would you'd go through without realizing your information was being stolen. I don't do that. It's like I have zero internet availability on this machine while I was doing this. And if you went to any kind of website while you're connected to my access point, this is the only thing that pops up. It's like just to let you know, hey, maybe you shouldn't have done that. The one funny story that I had with this was I gave a talk to the U.S. Chamber of Commerce in Washington, D.C. And you may not realize this, but I don't adult very well and stuff, you know. So I just usually, you know, show up and it's like I'm not organized. So it's like I really should take better attention to see who else is speaking at these conferences that I pop up to, because I'm going through it. I'm getting all these names. And I'm looking at my Wi-Fi pineapple. I'm like, oh yes, this is awesome. Get on. And I hear the first speaker come on, and it's like the president of the company, like blah blah blah. You know, he's talking. He's talking about chamber stuff. I'm a hacking guy. I don't care. And he says, well, let me introduce the first speaker, the guy who's speaking right before me. It's like Mike Morrell, ex-deputy director of the CIA. And all of a sudden, I'm like, who's on my list? It's like, look on my list. It's like, this is not going to be fun. It's like, so always make sure there's no ex-CIA guys in your audience before you start running a Wi-Fi pineapple. You might have a bad day. I didn't. He left before my talk was started, so I was good on that one. But I was a little worried. And he actually emailed me later. It's like after the conference, because someone told him about the talk and told him it was good or something, and he's like complimented me. But the whole time, when that first email popped up, I was like, uh-oh, what did I do? You know, so. Another way that I educate people, because once again, we all think electronically, right? We think like Wi-Fi is our danger. We think about USB drives are our danger. How else can you scan a document? What is another good way to scan a document that you're trying to steal data off of a company network? What's a good way to scan a document? Huh? Anybody? There you go. See, look at that. Someone actually answered one of my questions. It's like, so a picture, but you know you can't walk in with cameras always, right? Well, yeah, you can. $20 on eBay, high-def video recorder. I've got the 8 gig micro SD card in there. It's like, and just to show you to see how that works, yes, another video time.
How you doing?
It's great to see you.
It's great to see you too. How you doing?
Well, I'm so happy that you're here, and I understand you just got off a plane from Beijing.
Yeah, it's been a busy week or so.
Yikes. Are you exhausted?
Just a little bit tired. Lately I don't sleep much, so it's really good.
I landed home from Beijing on the 25th. I flew out on the 26th to come here.
Panel tomorrow is just going to be terrific. It's going to scare the living daylights out of people, I'm sure.
Well, I hope they find it educational as well.
I know I did when I saw you the first time. So
very nice.
come in and tell me a little more about what you think you're going to do.
I'm thinking tomorrow I want to do a little bit different. I want to be doing a demo that is not just a technical aspect of it, but more.
Can I get you something to drink?
Well, yeah, you can. It's like if you got Diet Pepsi, that'd be great.
Let me see what I can scratch.
I know what I like.
Okay, you do that, and I'll see what I can scrounge up over here. Oh.
Red folders are awesome.
Interesting. For your eyes only. Well, maybe not really. There you go. I'm sure the stuff is totally.
Now this is me going quick because I don't want to put too much detail in those, but if I would have just gone like this, what's the difference between actually taking a picture and then walking out with it? I did a biopharmaceutical.
But I could only find Diet Coke.
Oh.
I know people are particular about that.
I did a biopharmaceutical company once that had their actual markup language thingamajig. I have no idea what it was, but what they were telling me was it could bankrupt their company. And it was on the printer. They should really check I tell people, it's like, you know, printers are the best things, because I'm very environmentally conscious. Are you all environmentalists here? I love the environment. I hate to think that those print jobs in those trees died in vain. So I will take all those print jobs off the printer. It's like any documents that are left around the table, I'm gonna take them, I'm gonna liberate them. I wanna make sure they didn't die in vain. Okay, it's like, I'm such much an environmentalist, it's like if I see a print job printing out, I'm probably gonna take that one too, just in case you might have forgotten it. Okay, so it's like, and then now I don't have to walk out with it, I just have to scan it. Yep, there we go. So in this next one, which I'm gonna start, we're running out of there. Do y'all want to keep hearing stories, or you want to start asking questions? Because I got another one where I did a phishing attack on this guy, and it was just like, you know, but it was like, do y'all want to hear? I'm going to leave it to who wants to hear a story? Okay. Y'all just don't want to ask questions or something? Come on. All right, here's a story. I was asked to do a telecom company in Lebanon. The CEO, wonderful person. I want to say that because I'm being recorded. I don't know if he's going to listen. I don't know if he's going to listen. He wanted me to do a spear phishing campaign. But at the time of doing the spear phishing, he wanted the name of all the people that failed it for disciplinary actions. That's not cool. It's like, I do security awareness engagements. This is not to punish people. This should be used as an educational tool. I could pick 1 to 100 people, but I had to be successful. It's like, he wanted a success. It's like, you gotta be able to prove that you can do this. Okay, cool. I picked one person, him. And I started with his about page on his website. I love about pages. You can ask Don, how do you say the president's name, Blackman? Just came back from, used to be in Chicago, his wife's still there. Yeah, it's like, you love about pages on websites. It's like, you can find out a lot of information there that maybe you shouldn't be able to find out on about pages. You can tell them I said hi. And not that I did any research at all. So usually my research takes about 2 hours. I've never used a full 2 hours to do research and recon to create a successful attack. And I use mainly just start off with Google and their company's webpage. This whole attack took 15 minutes. I go to the about page. I see him, that's him. It's like, I take his picture, I download it for reasons. Those reasons was so I can then add it to the Google image search. There's a camera icon on the Google image search page. That means you can upload or show a link to an image that you want to search for other likenesses of it anywhere else on the internet. So that helped get me to his Twitter account. I love Twitter. Me and the other 24 IDs I have on Twitter love Twitter. I am an 84-year-old Air Force retired Air Force Lieutenant Colonel, Jack O'Neill, because I like Stargate, whose granddaughter got me to get onto Twitter to start learning how to do it and stuff, for one engagement. I was 84 years. I am a 23-year-old, recently graduated CPA female redhead on LinkedIn. And one of the most awkwardest things is when your target, your victims, endorse you for your CPA skills on LinkedIn. It's like, because you're like, oh, thank you, but I really don't know how to do that stuff, but I appreciate that you appreciate me. So it's like, it was a little awkward. So I love doing social media accounts. It's like, and you should too if you do them properly. And here he is, he's very sociable. Here's a great picture of him at a conference that he was at. And I love this information. You know why? That's when I usually target you, because when you go to a conference, it's like, you're meeting a lot of people, right? It's like, do you remember all their names? No. It's like, I suck at that really bad. I mean, even normally, it's like, I'm terrible with names. So you meet people and you assume that you know them. So that's why I like to attack those kind of things. So I went to this conference website, found one of the speakers that was in the same business as he was, and what did I do? Oh, I assumed his identity. I became that speaker. And that speaker sent him an email. And the email said, it was great meeting you, seeing you again as we discussed at the GSA Mobile 360 Dubai this past October. I want to invite you to become a member of the board and stuff, for the MENA Telecom Alliance. There's the website.
Look forward to helping moving Lebanon forward, blah, 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 best regards, blah, blah, blah. Send from a mobile device. Why do you always put send from a mobile device on it? Because I don't know if they've ever communicated. I don't know how this guy says hello. I don't know how he says goodbye. He does his signatures. But when you say send from a mobile device, everybody goes, oh, okay, cool. It was sent from a mobile device. You know, it's like you make those allowances for that, not just for spelling errors. So he clicks on the link. What a crappy website. Okay, it took me 3 minutes to make. Don't judge me, okay? It's like, but we created a website. It's done. That was it. If you clicked on the link, you were done. Before the images loaded, you were done. That's why I love beef so much. Okay? As soon as he connected to the website, it was over. There he is. Less than 12 hours later, he clicked on it. And so I was able to go back to him and say, look, well, we did the spear phishing campaign. We were successful. We targeted one person. It was you, who hired me to do spear phishing, so you knew spear phishing attacks were coming out. And hopefully this will show you that anybody can be susceptible to spear phishing attacks. You have to teach them how to be better prepared for those. And yes, I do understand I'm probably never getting a job again from you, but you know, it was the principle of the thing, because I don't like getting people in trouble. So that's how that worked out for him. He learned, and they started and instituted a good spear phishing campaign lessons after this event. And that was the key thing. It was to teach people. You have to show and educate the users, not just show them what they've done wrong. You need to show them how to do it right. So now you're totally on the hook. Yes?
Have you ever gone back to any of the companies or places you broke in to see if they learned and actually implementing change?
Yes. I have gone to a couple of places and looked back. Some have not done very well, and others have done, you know, they've actually looked for it, and they've actually done it and listened to my recommendations and done them. I still gotten in, but it was through different ways, and I had to, you know, put more effort into it, which is always a good thing. If a company, the way I look at it, and some people disagree with me, but the way I look at it is if a company, if you do support for a company, if you show them the failings, you show them how you broke in, you show them the vulnerabilities, and you come back a year later and you can get in through those same vulnerabilities, then you failed. It's like, I don't believe the client failed. I believe that you failed because you didn't properly show them the dangers. You didn't show them why it was so important that they make those repairs, they make those fixes. So I feel bad about that when I break in the same way. It's like, and I've done that before where it was the same combo lock. They didn't change the combo lock. It's like, and so I went in and I was very adamant about what I did after that, and they changed the combo lock before I left. I'm not going to go into the details because, you know, legal. But it was a very good demonstration of what the dangers of them not having the combo lock changed. So, but yeah, you want them to change. You want them to adapt and get better. And you still want to be able to show them where there's vulnerabilities. But I spend 2 days of an engagement, and I've already got another engagement coming up. It's like first quarter of next year. It's like where I'm spending 5 days. It's like 1 day is recon, another day is doing education. But then the social engineering, on the ground social engineering is 3 days. I spend the first 2 days being utter destruction. I am chaos incarnate. It's like I go there and I do as much physical damage as I possibly can. I'm the worst possible thing to happen to you at the worst possible moment, okay? I'm great at parties. It's awesome. It's like the third day, I spend getting caught. The third day, I spend letting the employees catch me and see that I'm doing something. I go from, yes, I have this engagement, but I'm supposed to be in here. I need you to let me into the server room. I go from that to, yeah, I'm supposed to get into the server room. Is that cool? Because I needed to get the computer from the. I had a work order, but I need it. Okay, so the thing changes because you want. Why do you do that? Because you want to give them a win. It's like it's one thing to be able to show people how all the things they did wrong. You can't go in and show everybody all the wrong things that they can do. But you can give people something to look at of what they can do right. You can take that one thing and say, well, that person questioned someone that looked suspicious that wasn't familiar in the area. This person stopped the person from trying to piggyback behind them and tailgate them going to the secured doors. Where I was actually successful tailgating the day before, I made sure I got caught tailgating on the third day. So it's like you give them those wins, so it gives them something that you can write at and give people something to look at as a positive reinforcement. It can't always be negative. So, but yeah, it's like the only time I've ever gotten caught on an engagement was when I wanted to. It's like, so that's it. Yes?
Are there any like certifications that you think they like are open to trying to get some
The what now?
certifications?
There is, for social engineering and physical compromise, there are some courses at Black Hat you can take, I think. Chris Nickerson does a really good one. It's like, he's a professional red teamer, so if you know where I do this, it's amateurish. It's like, but he does this, and he does classes. Chris Hagney does a social engineering class. So those are some courses. I don't know if there's actually certifications you can get for it. It's like you can get the little certifications like, hey, they attended, awesome. Yes? How did I get started doing this? Yeah. Sheer happenstance. I actually, I started doing the, well, I started with the regular security. It's like doing network security administrator for a financial institution in Houston back in 2000, breaking into places. And I started out there, and I've always loved being the good guy. It's like, you know, you hear about some of these hackers, like, so, well, they got mixed up with the law and stuff like that. I have always been one of the good guys. I've never broken into a system without permission and stuff, you know. It's like I've always had that engagement. So I started out doing regular network computer security. And then 2003, I moved to this other financial place. And the funny thing about that was halfway through around 2005, we had an audit. And it was a major 4 auditing company, and they sucked really, really bad. They're using Tamper.IE to show how they could manipulate data, which wasn't really good. They were doing Nessa scan. I mean, they were really horrible. So I went through, and it's like I told our CIO, and our CIO and my boss's boss, which was the CIO, and then their main supervisor guy and the guy who did it, we all got on a conference call, and I totally freaking destroyed this guy. I was like, you did this, this, and this. It's like, don't do Tamper.IE and tell me you're doing. I just checked, here's a screenshot from your site that shows the same vulnerability. You're saying that's a vulnerability on us and stuff, you know. My freaking 8-year-old could do better scanning on this because I've taught him how to use Kali better than this. It's like, you know, and it's like, they're like, blah, 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 you know. So that's when I realized maybe it wasn't so hard to do this stuff. So I started off with the network side, and then I learned something even more important. Network sides, I can break in through a network. I can use, you know, tools and stuff, you know. It's, I mean, it's difficult to do stuff besides Metasploit modules. It's like to actually figure out how something's going to work and how to be able to actually get that shell and then go over and pivot onto another network and then pivot in deeper into the machine and stuff, you know, and get the reverse shell back. Those are things that are more difficult, but they're also stationary. It's like, I realized it's like if I do social engineering and physical compromise, I have to go to those locations. So, I mean, literally, when I talked about going to Lebanon, Jordan, and Cyprus in this 1 month, it's like there was another guy that was there with me, and he had to do the network side of it. So we'd go to Amman, Jordan. We were there for a day. So he goes in there early in the morning. He's there. He goes into an office. It's like smoke filled because they're smoking all over the place and stuff, you know. He's like, goes into this office and he's like, he's working on his computer and he's getting domain admin credentials and everything. Me, I'm going to the bank, I'm breaking in, then I get the driver to take me to the Citadel and I get to go see the Citadel. And so I get to go do a tour, like I get to buy some tourist stuff, you know, and it's like I bought some henna and I bought some other stuff for some friends. And it's like, I got to go, and I come back like, yeah, it was awesome. It's like, here's a magnet for you and stuff, you know, it was great. Here's the picture of me in front of the Citadel and stuff, you know, it was amazing. It looks beautiful out there. And all he saw was that office. Okay, let's go to the airport. And we go to Nicosia, Cyprus. It's like, you know, he goes into a little office and he does his little computer. He gets domain admin controls. I go in, break into some banks and stuff, you know. It's like, oh, let me go see the downtown area and stuff. Oh, this is beautiful. This is amazing. It's like, this is really cool. Oh, look at this church. I've never seen a church like this before. It's like, and I get to see all this. And then at the end of the day, it's like, I come back here. It's like, oh, dude, it was awesome. It's like, we got to go now. That sucks. So it's like, I don't want to do the network-based stuff. It's like, there are plenty of talented people that can do network-based pen tests, I like to actually physically break in because it's just more fun, exciting, and it's usually weirder and stuff for me. So I have to go for that. I think he had one. Yes? The most rewarding one of my whole career? Oh, the best thing I've ever broken into. Because I have a worst one. It's like, but my best one. No. It's like, I shouldn't have said it that way, but it's like, the best one, I think the best one that I've ever done was there was a Palace Hotel in the south of France. And I broke in barefoot, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle pajama bottoms and a hacker t-shirt. It's like at 3 o'clock in the morning, fully compromised the whole place like that. But then afterwards, they let me go to Monaco and Italy and stuff, while I was there. The client didn't even finish paying me, but I still had a really great time, so I really enjoyed it. But that's probably the best one. It's like, was probably that hotel. Yes?
Why do you think people still trust you? You're literally like wearing a hacker badge and like, these multi-art servers. What do you think after I've been doing it so long? What's the mentality there?
I've worn, on my engagements before, I've worn a black work shirt that said hacker on it. I broke into a skyscraper, I think it was Financial 5 Center in Manhattan, right across the street from Ground Zero, with all their security, all their guards and x-rays and dogs and SWAT people and stuff, with a shirt that said, your company's computer guy. It's like I had a valid badge up inside there. I got pictures of it and stuff, It's in one of my other talks you can see. It's like, it's basically, they do it because I look like if I'm there doing something bad, that's something bad. You don't want to think that. I'm smiling, I'm friendly. It's like, obviously, I've got to be doing good stuff or I'm a bad person and something bad's happening to you. Have you noticed that in all these tragedies that always happen everywhere, there's always that person who's like, I just didn't expect it to happen here. Why not? Because we don't want it to happen here. It's like, I travel all the time on airplanes. Never once, well, actually, the way I am, I'm very paranoid, but like usually people don't go and stuff, when they wake up, it's like, oh, that's great, I'm getting on a plane, I'm heading to Paris, that's gonna be awesome. We'll probably die around the Atlantic and stuff, for an engine failure, but hey, you gotta travel, right? No one thinks that, because that sucks. So it's like, if I can give you, I stole a car one time wearing a shirt that said, I'm a liability on it. It's like from the valet. It's like, I come with all kinds of warning labels and stuff, but I have seen people look at me and they've got the facial expression like, you are not supposed to be. And they're questioning me. I was in Amman, Jordan at this one branch and the bank manager is telling me, you can't plug that into the computer. And the whole time I'm going, you're right. I shouldn't do this. You should call someone. Is there a number you can call? Because I know I'm supposed to do it, but wait, hold on. But you don't think I should do it, so you should call somebody. Because I know I'm supposed to be here, but if you don't think I should be here, hold on. 5 machines. I plugged it in 5 machines the whole time, telling her that I agreed with her that I shouldn't be plugging it into the machines. It's like, because I'm not threatening. It's like tellers are learned and trained. If a guy comes in with a ski mask and shotgun, this is what you do, this is how you react. I broke into a bank in the US as an electrician guy who was taking a Pwnie Express phone plug and plugging it into the bank, because I was testing the voltage and stuff, because of the brownouts from headquarters. So we had to do the voltage regulation to make sure they weren't doing with our new TCP IP over Ethernet and stuff, going through the power collection. So this is the modulator and stuff, that will record that. I got the bank manager to get out of her chair to plug it into her desk. Not because I had to, but just because it was fun, okay? It's like, and I did that, and they gave me full access to, I was supposed to do 10 branches. After the 4th successful branch, I got a call saying, okay, we're good, we're done. I think you proved your point. It's like, and I'm like, are you sure? Because there's like 6 more I can do. He's like, no, it's like, we're okay. It's like, because I was successful every single time. I was wearing a DEF CON work shirt. I used a fake name that I had no ID to back up. And I have fake ID with different names on them. I had a fake ID with no name. I've got a fake company's name. I used a fake phone number that had the right area code. I had no idea what the number went to, into a U.S. bank, and it was successful. So it's like, I mean, people don't expect that. I have an ID in my wallet that whenever someone asks me for a credit card or asks me for to get into a club, I always use this ID. This is Brad Pitt's driver's license, California driver's license. 7 out of 10 times it's accepted. 7 out of 10 times. Yes.
2 questions. How much time do you spend a week learning about new technology that's being developed all the time? The second question is, how much do people learn going into this world? And it's world of work.
Hold on. One quick question. First of all, I got free pins and stickers now. I'm all out of shirts. I'm sorry. It's like, why do people learn?
How much time do you spend a week to learn doing this work?
Every day. There is no not learning. It's like I am constantly on Twitter, constantly looking to see what new things are coming out. It's like I'm constantly looking, and I have a lab at home that is nothing but VM machines from different operating systems, and some are updated, totally patched. Others are outdated. It's like testing new tools, testing new technology. It's like I said, I hate doing the network stuff, but I still got to know it because I got to know how to defend against it. It's like I've got a whole machine that is nothing but for my hardware equipment. I've got RFID cloners. It's like I've got RFID sniffers and scanners. I've got hardware keystroke loggers, all those things that I have to test on those devices. You don't ever stop learning. It's like if you try to get into information security because you think it's a good career choice and a good job, you're gonna have a bad time, seriously. Because you have to have a passion for this. This is not something, and 90% of the thing I think people that do this job, they do it 9 to 5 and they go home and they have, what's called a life, I guess, and stuff, and that's great for them, and I'm not judging that. But if you really want to get into the hacking and information security and learn how to really get involved and make a difference, this is not something you shut off at 5 o'clock. I am constantly doing this. I mean, yes, I'm playing Call of Duty 3 because Black Ops is awesome. It's like, but I'm also learning and working on these different machines and learning to see what new exploits there are. I have like 4 or 5 different screens going at all times. Once again, ADD helps. It's like, but yeah, it's like you don't ever stop. It's constant learning. There is no off switch.
Average wage to somebody going in this field?
Locally, it's like junior, probably 40, 50,000 a year in Oklahoma. It's like, I don't know how that translates to here, probably like 80 or 70 because you guys are like way expensive over here. But yeah, it's not bad. You can make some good, you can make awesome bank doing this. It's like, it's just your choice if you want to do it for the passion or if you want to do it for the money. It's like, because it's easy to sell out. It's like, because there is a negative unemployment. I will promise you I'll get to you next. It's like, there is a negative unemployment here in this field. It's like they don't have enough people right now that are qualified to do the job of information security. And that's just like monitoring firewalls and intrusion detection systems, not people breaking into stuff, people just monitoring the stuff. It's like, so yeah, you can make major banking here. It's like, I don't do that because I just, I like being able to do all this other stuff and have people put up with my crap. So it's like, but yeah, it's like, you could definitely, it's very profitable. And you can come down later and get pins and stuff. Wait, I promised him, don't make me lie. It's like, yes.
So you said you get to choose your job. Is that because you have so many people coming to you, or do you have another job?
Well, no, I have a day job. Well, sort of, technically. It's still a day job. It's like, I have a day job. I'm Assistant Vice President of Information Security for a national financial institution, which is pretty hilarious because this is the way I usually dress to work too at the bank, and no one else does, and I get a lot of crap for that as well. But no, I'm there. I'm more of their on-call guy now. It's like I always check to see when the newest vulnerabilities are. I'm their personal red team guy. It's like I'm constantly looking for vulnerabilities in those systems. I'm constantly looking to see what newest threats are, to see if they're, like there was a new McAfee thing out and stuff, it's like, hey, it's like, there's a new McAfee thing out. There's a new WebSense, there's a new Symantec, there's a new vulnerability that's affecting these systems, just in case you hear about it. It's like I'm always, when I go to conferences all over the world, I'm actually in the talks as well, because I'm there to learn. The least productive time I have at a conference is the time that I'm up here. It's the biggest waste of my time because I'm not actually interacting with anybody or learning from someone else. I'm just spewing stuff. So it's like I like it when I'm actually talking and learning and finding out from other talks. So that's what they usually have me for. So that's my main job. And then I also work with Pwnie Express as the InfoSec Ranger, which I do, a lot of the media, a lot of the talks. I go to the booths and stuff, like that, and generate that kind of buzz. So, and then I just do like 4 or 5 engagements. They've got to be like special. Like I'm doing a sports team, national sports team next year as well. And I might be breaking into a place in Iran. So, so it's like, so they've got to be interesting. I think it was him and then you. Wait, no, it was him first. Him, and him. Okay. There's plenty of pins for everybody, so we're all good. Yes?
So you mentioned before in the presentation you were caught a couple times and forced to present your get out of jail free card. What did management or employees call you out?
No. I've, to make it, and I'm not trying to brag, but I want to be specific. It's like, I have never gotten caught by accident. It's like I have a 100% success rate. The only time I've gotten caught was when I wanted to get caught. And I get caught because I wanted to be evident. There was one time to get caught, I literally, this was sad. I was behind the teller line already for like 10 minutes waiting for someone to wonder why the American was behind their branch. And so I'm sitting there in front of this desktop computer that's obviously doing bank functions. It's on and it's processing, but it's locked. It's obviously doing bank processing. And I'm like, I roll over a little bit to the chair. It's like, hey, what's the user ID and password in this machine? He tells you what the user ID and password is. It's the same thing, and it's also the name of the machine because, otherwise it would be hard. So I log in. I do a graceful shutdown. I shut down the processing bank thingy that they were actually using. Shut it down. I unplug it, and I'm walking it out the door. And only when I get to the teller line door gate thing, the guy actually goes, maybe I should ask this guy why he's taking our server that I can't do business on anymore because the server's walking out the door. And so he goes and he says, he's like, excuse me, he's like, what? And I don't try, I promise you, I could have come up with something. It's like, I got the new server in the car, I'm switching them out, that's why I'm here, whatever. I didn't, because the goal was to get caught. So as soon as he said that, I was like, oh, you caught me. Darn, curses, jinkies, foiled again. It's like I was going to get away with it and stuff, but it's like I couldn't, and there's no meddling kids. So I told him, it's like, you just got me, and I gave him the win. It's like, because that's important. It's like I make things obvious, more obvious than I usually would to get caught. Sometimes I have to make them overly obvious. There's been one time it's like where I actually had the person where the person was like, I could see that they were going to report me and I could have gone out the door, but I didn't. And that's actually one of my epiphanies there. That's when I started actually making sure that I got caught at least once during an engagement. Because I think that provides more value to the client by getting that kind of morale boost to the employees. It's like, it shouldn't be the employee. It's never you versus them. Never on an engagement is it you versus them. You are there for them. You are there to help protect them and find their vulnerabilities so they can be better secured. You are there because you are part of their team that they hired to help protect them and make them better. It is never an adversarial role except for when you're doing it for acting and stuff, and acting as the adversary. But it's never an actual adversarial role. It's never like, oh, I'm gonna get you, oh yeah, you no. It's like you're there to help them. It's like sometimes you get competitive and stuff, and it's like, and I've been to the place where like, oh no, I'm breaking in. Oh no, this is gonna happen. It's like, it's like, I did that, I was a little petty and stuff, at this one job too, where it's like, I did that, but it's a whole other story. Was it?
Do you have any favorite DEF CON talks?
My DEF CON talks or other people's DEF CON talks? Huh? Screw other people's. I thought you were talking about my DEF CON talk. No. There's been a lot of, any talk that you see from Adam Laurie, Major Malfunction, are awesome. He does a lot of hardware satellite hacking and hardware RFID cloners and chip and pin systems. Really cool stuff. But he's also very engaging. Dan Kaminsky's always a riot and stuff, he's cool. who are some other good talks? There's just too many out there. It's like Dave Kennedy does a really good, he's got a great way to talk to people and stuff, that they can understand, even though it's a technical talk. It's like it's done where everybody can understand it. So Dave Kennedy's talks are always good at DEF CON. Literally just go to securitytube.net. It's like those are all con talks. Iron Geek's website, it's like it's all con talks from all different conferences. It's like you get to see different talks from different people. So I would check out those. I mean, I don't really I have a lot of people that I like. It's something that's like, and I'm biased. So, but those are some of the main ones that are like, I think you can get some good knowledge off of. The key thing is, what are you interested in? It's like, find out what you're interested in and then watch those talks. It's like, so I mean, it's like, because there's anything that you're interested in versus password cracking. It's like, Bravo Hacks and Pure Hate does one on Hashcat. It's like PowerShell, Ben 10 does a great one on PowerShell and PowerShell hacking, or Carlos Perez does another good one. It's like versus, Metasploit, with HG and Spoon M and all those guys and stuff, DEF CON 12, I think, or 13. It's like all those are out there. It's like, so it's what you're interested in. So you figure out what you're interested in and just focus on that. Yes?
I'm very interested in the physical side of pen testing, but here we're pretty much pointing towards the network side of things.
Right.
How would you recommend breaking into doing what you do, like the physical pen tests?
Break into here, get started. No, I'm joking. I did not say that. That was a joke by the camera there. That's a good question. I don't know. I am not even joking. I'm not very professional. I just fell into this. It's like I don't adult very well. I don't know. I did a YouTube video on how to get into information security. I would say you start off doing like the blue team stuff, learning how the stuff is made, learning how the stuff is defended. I started out in physical security. I started out as a guy in polyester and riding a golf cart and stuff in a parking garage, okay? Trust me, you don't want to start that way, okay? It's like you learn a lot about physical security and camera placements and guardships and where the weaknesses are in the physical infrastructure. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I'm so successful, is because I actually had to wear polyester. That'll make it a mark on anybody. It's like, so it's like, that's a good way to start out, but doing it from the blue team side, just learning network security administration, learning those kind of things, learning where an attacker would go in, and then just start trying to see if you can find a company that is looking for those kind of people. You got Trusted Sec, you've got Securing the Humans, Chris Hagney's company, Dave Kennedy's company, they've got those. Layers, which is Chris Nicholas' company, they do all those things, and they may have a junior position available at some point, or maybe an intern position or something. It's like I would try there first. So it's like, but definitely get a little bit more formal training or like teaching yourself and stuff on what to do and stuff. Yes?
How important are people skills in this kind of career?
Well, from the network side of it, you have to have zero people skills. Trust me. It's like, if you look at Twitter, you realize that. It's like, but it's like, sorry, a lot of Twitter drama. But for social engineering, it's all people skills. It's like, I try to make it perfectly clear, okay? It's like, this stuff is so easy, even I can do it. It's like, I am I tell my children I'm a ninja. They still believe that. So, but I am not some kind of expert in social engineering. I have not taken any formal classes. I've not done actually any formal training and stuff, on anything. It's like, this is just what I've learned. It's like, it's so easy, I can do it. It's like, most of my engagements, I am literally walking in off the street and just being friendly. It's like, so it's not rocket science. It's just using the vulnerabilities of the human stuff, and being able to do that. It's like, so there is an innate ability that I have of being able to read people. I read people very well. I don't do NLP science or any of all that stuff that's way too complicated for me and it would require too much reading, and that takes away from Call of Duty. So it's like, so I don't do that, but there's other people that do subscribe to that theory and stuff, say that's how to do it. So it's just whichever tack that you want to take. But I mean, I'm not a great role model for about anything. So yeah, it's like I would not go my way. My way sucks really bad, and it was really horrible to get to this point. People always say, Jayson, I wish I could be like you. It's like, no, you'd have to survive the first 25 years, and trust me, no one wants to do that. So yes. Oh, get you next and then him. Or,
So where'd you get Bradman's ID from, and how are you not charged with felony for that?
Oh, no, it's like I got Pitt's driver's license from across the street from the Empire State Building at the gift shop. And it says right there on the back, souvenir. It's like, and whenever someone actually calls me on it, I go, oh yeah, I'm just joking. I had to switch to Brad Pitt's. I literally made a purchase in San Francisco for this piece of artwork and stuff, and this lady was adamant about seeing my ID, and I had a alien ID. It has a green alien on it from Area 51 driver's license, and it was so insulting because she accepted it. And so, I mean, like, really? That's the way I look. And so now I do Brad Pitt, so that way if at least they fall for it, I feel good about myself. Like, oh, yeah, of course, me and Brad Pitt, I see the resemblance. It's like, I can understand why they'd fall for it. Other than the green alien dude's like, oh, thanks, that hurt. So, yes.
What was it like the first time you compromised something like physically? Like, did you have to suppress surprise when these people were just literally letting you into something?
The very first one I did was pretty just like blasé about it. Now that I know all the repercussions, all the things, now I'm terrified on every one of them. It's like, even though I'm trying to get caught on some of them, and I don't mind, see, for me, a lot of pen testers, they have to succeed. It's like, I'm doing my whole talk next year on failure. It's like, I don't need to succeed. I don't mind having failure because failure is also a learning experience for you as well. It's like, so I don't mind failing right off the gate and getting caught immediately because that still teaches them something. It shows them something. It gives them that security awareness. It's like, I'm not trying to break it. I'm trying to teach them. But I'm still terrified. I'm like, oh my gosh, am I going to get in? What's going to happen? It's like, it's like, there's always this like, I'm never surprised that they're going to fall for it because they're humans. It's like humans are flawed. And if you're hiring me to begin with, you already realize that there's a problem. So that part's going to be easy. It's like, so it's the educational part afterwards that's difficult. So it's breaking in is easy. Trying to teach them in a way that doesn't alienate them, that doesn't make them feel bad, that doesn't make them feel like it's a negative experience, that's the difficult part. Because every time I succeed, that 2 minutes later, I have to go back into that room and talk to every single one of those people in a way that encourages them, even though they just failed. It's like, I still have to be there now. It's like, oh, yes, you were helping me. That was great. Oh, wait, now you realize I'm the adversary. I'm a horrible person that just made you look stupid. Wait, I'm the teacher. I'm trying to educate you. We're in this together. We're partners. That's the way it should be. And that's the whole world. Most of my social engineering is done after the compromise. It's like, because you're literally trying to social engineer the employees to be better social engineer detectors and protected against it. So you actually social engineer your employees to be better at not being socially engineered. Yes?
What would you say are the most important skills to have?
In social engineering, it's like, or information security.
Just in general.
Passion. You have to, I'm not even going to, I can never degrade how much dedication you have to keep constantly learning to try to figure out other stuff and hitting yourself against the head and stuff, for like, crap, why won't this compile? This should have compiled. You do it 25 times the same exact way. The 27th it works. And what is that? You did everything exactly the same way. It's like, but you have to just keep going and knowing that eventually at some point you're going to learn it. The reason why Kali Linux motto is try harder is because you always have to try harder. It's like you just don't give up. Also, you just have you just have to be curious. Hackers, I hate the way that hackers have gotten a name now, because when I say hackers, people think a bad connotation. They think it's like criminals. It's like, that's not true. 200 years ago, hackers were called inventors and creators and artists. We come from Leonardo da Vinci, Nikola Tesla. It's like Alan Turing. Those are hackers. It's like these criminals are using the tools that hackers have created, just like criminals have used guns. That doesn't make them gunsmiths. It makes them people that have used guns to commit crime. Just like getaway drivers use cars to commit crime, and taxi drivers use them to make a job. It's like, so being inquisitive and learning and trying to figure out how things work and say, everybody tells me the world is supposed to be this way, but what if I do this? The program is supposed to do this, but what if I add this character here? What does it do? That's that inquisitiveness. You got to have that. I got a whole rant. My DEF CON 22 talk was a huge rant on just nothing but that, and I'm going to spare you guys that right now. So, okay? Because I get very ranty toward the end and rambly, so, and I know y'all don't have all day. Anything else? Yes?
Have you ever been trapped in a building? Most of the buildings you need to swipe to get in.
Right.
You need to swipe to get out. But there's many of these secure buildings where you need to swipe to get out.
No, I have never been trapped at all. The only times I've been trapped is when I've wanted to be trapped, so it's like I had the person get me out. I literally, like in the hotel in the south of France, it's like I literally walk up to the guy because I want to leave, and I'm just bored now. It's like, because I was there for over 30 minutes. I didn't have a camera with me, so I was walking by the security cameras going, smiling, like, hi. You know, it's like, so they would have to record that I was there in their facility. And I got tired, and I was like, and I didn't know where the exit was. So I just go up to the night guy, and I'm like, I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't, not here. I need to be not here. Can you get me out of, from here? And then you always look at them like they did something wrong, like they're, and the guy put me into the employee elevator, not the regular elevator, because they only had an employee elevator at that point, which actually took me to the first floor behind the hotel check-in desk, where the employee offices were, where there was an unlocked workstation and the hotel keys right there at the desk. It was a 5-star hotel. They provided everything. So, but that is the only way that one of the only times where I actually had to get someone to help get me out. It's like, and it was hilarious. It's like, so. I think we ended on, I'll do my worst story, because I think someone asked for the worst thing I've ever done. Or do we have time for that? It's up to you guys. Because I know you're like at that one point where that next person raises the hand, I'm like, what do you have to take for your next question? We're almost done. All right, so I'll do, the very worst thing that I've ever done was, well, not the very worst everything I've done. I've done some really shady stuff, but for a job, for a client, we won't go into that stuff. The statute of limitations, I think it's, okay, we're cool. So the shadiest thing was, I was in Kingston, Jamaica with the financial institution, and they wanted me to break into their main headquarters. And Kingston, Jamaica is not the friendliest of places downtown. So I was like, okay, we'll see what we can do. It took me an hour and 45 minutes with my team and stuff, you know, because it's like I had the company that hired me, it's like they had their members working on the engagement as well. And we're all working together doing research and recon and stuff, you know, for all of us. And we come up with a way to do it that was within scope. They had a charity organization that was right across the street, whose email address domain was the same domain as the corporate network. So therefore it was in scope. So this charity organization was really great, wonderful humanitarian people doing great, wonderful works in Jamaica, okay? So I have the team member call them up and says like, hey, who did the intro, say, hey, there's this TV producer coming in and wanting to do a show on corporations doing public good in the community. And she's like, oh, cool. So she puts me on the phone. I'm like, hey, what's going on? Yeah, I just had dinner with her. And he said, y'all doing such great work here in Jamaica. And we're doing this TV show which showcases companies like yours that are doing such great, wonderful works in this country and stuff, you know, and trying to do the betterment of people and trying to do all this humanitarian efforts. It's amazing. We've got to put you on the television show and stuff, you know. It's like, my flight leaves at 6 a.m. I just found out about you last night. My flight leaves at 6 a.m. Can I call you? Can I come by and see you today? It's like, at 3 o'clock, hold on a second. Cancel my 2. No, cancel my 2. This is more important. I got to be there. Okay, I'm there. I'll see you there. So then I show up. Remember the kittens, okay? It's like, okay. It's like I thought someone was like, oh, no. It's like, no, I'm a good guy. So it's like, so I go, I felt really bad about it, though. It's like, so we go there to the main headquarters, and I go in there first. And I go, say, yeah, I'm here with a charity organization. Let's cross the street. That was the receptionist lady, okay? She was not pleasant to deal with. This was the most comfiest looking man trap I've ever seen. You know what a man trap is? Man trap is where you've got a secured door and then another secured door, and you have to like verify through both of them. Well, this lobby was a man trap with cool couches and a little candy dish, which was amazing, right? But it's like you had to be buzzed in off the street. They had to look at you like, okay, he's not too sketchy. They obviously didn't know me, and they let me in. where I could then sign up to receptionist, and there's this security guard who's standing behind her who's getting paid extra to look mean and scary, and it's like he's right there, and then there's the door to get into the atrium area. So I sign up, as I sign up, it's like, she's like, that's across the street. I'm like, yeah, but can I go to the restroom real quick? It's like, you don't want to go before I go over there. It's like, and I always have to go to the restroom. It's not how much Diet Pepsi I drink, it's I always get lost trying to find the restroom. I mean, I have gone for 2 hours and never found the restroom. I found the secured employee entrance and area and stuff, in this one research facility. I never found the restroom. It's like, it's amazing how that happens. It's like, so I said, well, can I go use the restroom? He's like, sure. Open up the door. Security guard's walking right behind me as I walk over to the bathroom. I literally thought the guy was going to go into the stall with me, okay? I was a little nervous toward the end, but he stopped right at the door. So I go inside, and I think to myself, and I have the realization like, well, crap, I really don't have to pee this time. So now I'm just in there, and I'm waiting the proper amount of time for, an average urination to occur. And then I go and I wash my hands because I don't want them to think I'm some kind of filthy animal or something, right? So it's like I wash my hands because I literally think the guard is out there listening to me at the door. It's like if I had something to pour into the toilet bowl and stuff, I would have to make it more convincing because I really think this guy's listening to the tinkle. And it's like, so then I go outside and it's like, and he's at the door. I was like, well, that was a wasted effort. It's like, because I was about to go this way where the atrium elevators were, but then I see him at the door and he's like, he didn't do that, but it was implied, okay? By facial expression and body language, I didn't have to be some master NLP reader to know that was implied. So I went immediately over there. So then I go across the street and I talk to this lady. This lady was amazing, okay? Not being facetious, humorous, or anything. She was amazing. It's like, and I talked to her for 5 minutes. It's like, hey, is there a head of your corporation and stuff, that I can talk to you too that's part of this charity organization? He's like, oh yeah, the board of directors guy's here. And I'm like, awesome, let's go talk to him. So we go up there, it's like we go up to the office and we start talking and I'm talking for like less than 5 minutes. It's like, you know what, I can keep telling you about how wonderful this show is and what kind of episodes but I already have some of those episodes and stuff, on this USB drive. Don't worry about the rubber ducky on it. Let me plug this into your laptop and I can show you. So I plug the USB drive in, and usually when I plug my USB drive in, something weird happens. It's like I have a payload that goes to Weird Al Yankovic White Nerdy YouTube video, or I have one that shows up a command prompt that goes to ASCII Star Wars through the blinkylights.nl stuff, So it's like, so it does either one of those two things that shows network connectivity, and it shows that my payload would have been able to go through. It's educational. I'm not trying to compromise. So but I always have to act like, wow, that was weird. Why did that happen? I did not act this time. I plug in the USB drive, and all of a sudden his freaking machine goes all Yankees. I'm like, blah, 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 blah. I mean, it was literally his malware that was already on there fighting with my malware. And we're like, no, you can't be on here. I was here first. I'm like, no, I just need to do one thing first. Too bad, it's mine. I'm like, and they're like, it was the weirdest freaking thing. And I literally was like, I have never seen that before. And I was not acting at all. It's like, and this guy really wanted to see this video on this USB drive. So he calls in the tech support guy, which is a third-party contractor, which is out of scope. So I start freaking out, right? I'm like, I'll email it to you. I'll email you the video stuff. Don't worry about it. It's like, it's okay. It's like, I don't know what's wrong with you. He said, no, I don't get. He really wanted to see that video, okay? So he hands it to their contractor guy. Very important. He did it, not me. He handed it to him, okay? That's very important in legal terms, okay? That's what my lawyer tells me. So he hands it to him. It's like, and then I go and I have to think quick. 99% of social engineering is thinking quick on your feet. I go, you know what? There's other videos that are NDA'd on that USB drive and stuff, in other folders. I can't have them see that. I have to go with them to see what folder he clicks on. There's no folders on there. It's a rubber ducky. It's like, but I need to see what machine he plugs it into because I need to log that as a compromised machine as well. So I follow him into his work area, and he's got an Ubuntu machine. And I'm like, oh, thank goodness, it's Ubuntu. It's like I programmed all this stuff for Windows. It should be fine. And that's when I realized Ubuntu's awesome. Because boom, 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 it pops up, and I'm like, oh, great, I've got domain admin now for this whole car company and everybody else this guy supports. So I guess that's a win. It's like, but sort of not supposed to be. And then, and now you're going to the point like, well, Jayson, that sounds great. It's like, why is this your worst engagement? I had to go back into the room after successfully compromising them. And for the next 15 minutes, I had to talk to two wonderful, great humanitarian people about how I was going to put them on television. The lady gave me a copy of her book. She's like the Mother Teresa of Jamaica, for gosh sakes. Okay? How horrible. And halfway through, honestly, I started buying it. I mean, I was selling it good. I was like, you know what we're going to do? It's like I can see on one of the scans we want to have in your office and stuff, you know, in one of your cube areas and stuff. We're going to have one lady working in a nice casual attire. So she's working on her computer. And then we're going to do a pan and fade. That's what it's called, the biz. So we're going to do a pan and fade. And it's going to go around. And you can see people working at the water cooler or picking up a print job. And it's going to keep going around. You can see more workers. And it's going to get to the window of your office building. And as soon as it gets to the office building, we're going to do a blur transition effect. And it's going to go out to the streets of Jamaica. And there's a small girl who needs food. And that lady that was there working in casual clothes is now there working and feeding her. And you're going to show how the job that you do here in the company actually translates to actual effort and help to the people on the streets of Jamaica. It's going to be amazing. I mean, I was like really getting into it. I think that'd be actually a pretty good show. It's like, and then I leave. It's like, I talked to him, I got them all excited. We were all like, man, we're going to do lunch in a couple of months, right? Never went back, thank goodness. It's like, and then I leave for 2 minutes. Remember 2 minutes? Well, 3 minutes. I'm still outside. 4 minutes. I'm still outside. 5 minutes. One of the team members comes up that was driving me there, that drives up and says like, Jayson, aren't you going to go back in? Because he saw me the last couple of days, you know, where I, you know, go back in. And I'm like, nope, I can't go back in there and tell those people what I did. I'm a horrible person. And I literally had to call the client, and I was like, yeah, I'm not that professional. I'm not telling them. You got to tell them. I can't tell them. You can't make me. So sorry. But yeah, these people were wonderful, and I'm a horrible person. Bye-bye. It's like, and so I actually had to get the client to contact them to let them know what happened, because I just was not going to face that. It's like, I always reward myself after a good talk or a good compromise or a breach or destruction with ice cream. It's like, I still had ice cream, but it did taste a little bitter that time, okay? It was just for the record, it didn't taste as good as it usually does. But that was the worst engagement I probably have ever done. It's like those nice people. But I think that's it. Yay, we survived. Thank you, sir. There you go, cool.